Hello everyone, welcome back to Study Room, and today we'll be continuing with our chapter first, crop production and management. Today we'll be learning about adding manure and fertilizer. So what are manure and what is fertilizer, difference between those two things. So I hope you understood the last three videos, and now we'll be moving ahead. So what is manure actually? So manure is a organic It's an organic matter that is used as organic fertilizer in agriculture. Most, sorry, most manure consists of animal feces. Other sources include compost, green manures. Manures contribute to the fertility of soil. Sometimes manure is added to the soil before tilling. So, what are the functions of manures? It increases the soil fertility. And how manure is made? Manure is made from the decomposition of animal feces or any decomposable or biodegradable substance such as green manure. So moving ahead, what is fertilizer? So fertilizer and manure are different. So manure is an organic substance, whereas fertilizer is an inorganic substance. Fertilizer is any material or nature natural or synthetic origin that is applied to the soil or to plant tissues to supply plant nutrients. Fertilizers may be distinct from liming materials or other no nutrient soil amendments. The difference between manure and fertilizer is they both make the soil fertile. They both yield us better, but the manure is an organic substance, whereas fertilizer is an inorganic substance. The common examples of fertilizer can be found here. It's urea and it's ammonium sulfate. The formula of urea is CH4N2O. I hope you know C denotes carbon, H denotes hydrogen, N denotes nitrogen, and O denotes oxygen. Same as here. So, so and what other function does it does? Fertilizers increases the soil fertility by enhancing soil nutrients. So what major soil nutrient does it enhance? It enhances nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So soil is directly linked to NPK ratio. N means nitrogen, P means phosphorus, and K means potassium. So it's important that we ensure that these three macronutrients are present in good quantity in our soil. Moving ahead, how does the level of nutrients decreases in soil? So we discussed this earlier, because plants take up the essential nutrients, and when the plants take up the essential nutrients, the nutrients in soils die, but it is again ensured back and brought back by the decomposition of dead plant and animal. So soil nutrients, minerals, nutrients to the soil surface, these nutrients are essential for the growth of plants. We know nutrients are essential for fertility and growth of plants. In certain areas, farmers grow crop after crop. They don't give space. For example, if one crop is growing for a cycle of production, but there is no given amount for the soil to replenish itself, to gain the nutrients back from the natural process of decomposition or through air. We give no time for the soil to recover, to gain its previous or better state. So hence it is important that we provide it with nutrients. Hence we use manure and fertilizer for it. Hence the soil is deprived because we don't give space for the other plants to grow. So it's important that we give space to the two cycle of production. If you're growing kharif crop in one season, you should give break for 2 to 3 months and grow rabi crop in after the gap of 2 to 3 months, because soil should recover in its previous state of full of nutrients. Why manure is added to the plant? So continuous cultivation of crops make the soil poor in nutrients. We all know that if we are continuing cultivating our crops, then the soil will become less fertile. It will become barren. Therefore, farmer have to add manure to the fields to replenish the soil with nutrients. The process is called manuring. To add manure, means to give food to the plants in the form to the soil. Sorry, in the form of external nutrients. We're providing them nutrients, and this manure is a very natural one, apart from the fertilizer, because it is grown chemically. How manure is produced by the farmer? So since I mentioned that manure is organic substance, you can see here, obtained from the decomposition of plants or animal waste. Farmers dump plant or animal in the pits at open place. For example, this is a pit. Here, a farmer dump dead plants and animals and cover it with some soil and leave it covered for 3 to 4 months or 1 month. You'll see that the whole thing, the whole dead plants and animals are now mixed and completely formed into manure. They all become soil and with nutrients. So this is done by the process of decomposition or composting. Here is a small activity for you. You have to take 3 beakers A, B, C. In A beaker you have to include soil plus cow dung. In the B beaker you have to include soil plus urea, little urea. You can find urea in the coming agricultural, where you buy seeds from, you can find urea there. And C, nothing. So what you will see, you have to leave these 3 settings for 7 to 8 days, okay? And then we'll observe. You have to perform this activity by yourself, but I'll be showing you the result. So the observation, plants in all the glasses grow at the different pace, because for example, A has cow dung. Cow dung is a manure. B has fertilizer. So urea is a fertilizer. So the winner would be B, because definitely fertilizers are better than manure, but it has more harmful effects than manure too. So use of fertilizers has helped farmer to get better yield of crops. Hence, we prefer fertilizers over manure. But nowadays, we'll discuss this, why fertilizers are used over manures. So let's move ahead. Why should fertilizer replace manure? The use of fertilizer has helped farmers to get better yield. Okay, so we are getting better yield now, wheat, paddy and maize, but excessive use of fertilizer has made the soil less fertile and even caused water pollution. So fertilizer has its harmful implication as well. So to ensure that it doesn't cause much harm, the farmers nowadays use fertilizers with manure, organic manure. So in order to maintain the fertility, we have to substitute fertilizers with manure and leave the field uncultivated in between two crops. So these fulfill our all the feedbacks or loopholes. So now our crop is getting time for the cultivation. It is not getting polluted. Water pollution is not being polluted. Soil is getting fertility because we are adding manure with the fertilizer, and fertilizer gives us better yield. There is another method to replenish the soil apart from leaving it uncultivated to 2 to 3 months. Another method of replenishment of soil with nutrients is through crop rotation. This can be done by growing different crops alternatively. For example, growing kharif crop in the season of rain and growing rabi crop in the season of winter. This is a method of crop rotation. This can be done by growing different crops alternatively. Earlier, farmers in northern India used to grow legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. So this helped to gain back the nutrients for the soil, to gain the nutrients which it earlier had without it being consumed by the plants. A very interesting fun fact, you will be learning about nitrogen fixation in the next video, which is microorganism. But the small gist of it, rhizobium bacteria are used in the nodules of roots of leguminous plants. So rhizobium bacteria are present in the nodules of roots. Which bacteria? Rhizobium bacteria. Where it is present? In the roots of leguminous plants. So this bacteria fixes nitrogen. Nitrogen is a nutrient which the function which fertilizers is doing for other crops, here bacteria is doing for the crops. So it's very important. Now we'll be learning about difference between fertilizer and manure. Fertilizer is a man-made inorganic salt, you all know, and it's an inorganic salt. Manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung, plant residues. Fertilizer is prepared in factories, manure is prepared in field. Fertilizer doesn't provide any humus, but whereas manure provides humus. And but fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, whereas manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrients. Hence we have to give both the things, fertilizer plus manure, to the crop which we are going, to ensure that it is gaining fertility plus we have a better yield. Now we'll be talking about advantages of manure. You already read it there, but in the previous slide, but we'll be discussing it now. The organic manure is considered better than fertilizer. This is because it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. It makes the soil porous. If soil is porous, then the roots of the plants can deepen and can breathe very easily with the exchange of gases. Third, it increases the number of friendly microbes. Microbes, for example, you read about rhizobium, it fixes nitrogen. And the third one is it improves the texture of the soil. So I hope you learned something new from this video, and we'll be covering parts of irrigation in the upcoming video. So thank you.